Well, I'm playing this beautiful Grimes guitar. My buddy Steve Grimes made this here on Maui, and I wanted to share sort of a special tuning with you. I've covered this a little bit before. This one's called Wahine tuning, and it's basically low. The low E is tuned to a C, the A string down to a G, the D string stays the same, the G string stays the same, and the B stays the same, and then you drop your high E down to D. So essentially what you got here, for those of you that are familiar with open tunings, it's just like a G tuning, but instead of the low E string being a D note, it's a C note. And one of the reasons why I like the sound of it, especially on this guitar, when you're making a 4-chord, which I'm about to show you, we're just going to go back and forth from the 1 to the 4, which is a G to a C. And in this case, I'm just going to do a real simple picking pattern: down, down, up, up, down. So down, this is with a thumb, down, down, up, 3rd finger on the B string, up on the G string with the 1st finger, and then down on the D string with your thumb. So in slow motion, it'll sound like this. And you'll hear that pattern a lot in a lot of different songs. Now, what's fun about this tuning is when you go to your 4-chord, right, which is a C, what it looks like is an A minor 7th shape, which we all know by now. 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the D, 1st finger, 1st fret on the B. But what's nice about this is we hit that low C along with it, and it ends up sounding like this, which is kind of exotic sounding. I just love the sound of that. You know, when we talk about G tuning, we've mentioned this a lot before. Keith Richards and so many more people, Ry Cooder, that use it. People through the years, the blues guys, and they call it Sebastopol tuning in the blues, but here in Hawaii we call it taro patch, and that's just regular old G tuning. That's how they get that whole Hawaiian sound, right? Which came from the Portuguese sailors that came over here. That's the reason they call it slack key, but that's for another day. So let's go back to this and see what we can do with this that makes it sound interesting. So now we know we've got a pattern. Now let's see what happens when we go to the C chord. I'm doing nothing more than going to the low E, which is now a C. Then I come down with my thumb on the D string. And then I come up with the B string with my 2nd finger, 1st finger on the G, and then down on the D string, the thumb. So that 2nd part in slow motion would sound like this. E string, D string, B string, G string, D string. Slow motion, I'm going to go real slow for you. And then we simply go back to the G chord, which leads on the A string, same pattern. You with me so far? It's a cool thing to know, because not only is it handy because it works on a lot of different songs, it's almost like a banjo picking, but when you change the tempo up a little bit, as you're about to see, it can get pretty interesting, especially. I'm not going to go any further than the G to the C, the G to the C, because I don't want to complicate this thing. But you can get a lot of mileage out of that. You really can. So check it out. I'm going to take it slow, and then I'm going to slowly speed it up and see if you notice how the feel changes once we get it rolling. It's kind of got almost like a train rhythm. So I'm going to take it real slow at first. So that's actually a G chord. And then this becomes a C chord. It's just another way of voicing it. But when I put a little tempo on it, it sounds different. It's pretty full sound. If you want to, you know, later on when you get comfortable with it, you can give it a little variation. So if you like that kind of stuff, if you're prone to acoustic blues or finger picking or any of that, you can do it with a pick too, but somehow it sounds magical to me when doing this finger style, you know, just that rolling. And, you know, once you get accustomed to, you know, that pattern, it just becomes second nature after a while, and you can get your fingers dancing, you know. So I'm not going to get too fancy with it today, except to say that if we learn that basic 1-4-1-4-1-4, you know, there's a lot you can do with that. And if you're jamming with friends, you're hanging out, and one person's playing in this tuning and this particular style, it's fat, man. I mean, it's like a great backing track for someone who wants to play some solos or a little slide or sing over or whatever. It's just a way of getting a full sound with just one guitar. This particular guitar is pretty remarkable. It's a Beamer model. It's got 2 sound holes, as you can see. And you can really get that. It's like a cannon. It's like an orchestra. Just thing goes forever. It's great. So I wanted to say thank you for coming by and checking out my channel here, and I also wanted to do a shout out down under. G'day to you, to all the people in Australia and New Zealand that have been tuning in. We've noticed you, and any kind of requests or ideas you got, I really appreciate it. But having so much fun with these lessons, conversing with everyone around the world, it's just a kick. So greetings from Maui, aloha, and we'll see you down the road.